Hello chess players, in this video I'm going to show you a game I played against a GM and how I beat him. I'm going to tell you what I was thinking and I'm going to show you some variations of stuff that could have happened during the game. So the GM is elmarmalade. He was rated 26-22 and I was rated 23-22 on lichess. This is a 5-minute game, 5-0. And let's just get right into it. So started with e4, c5, Sicilian defense. I played knight f3, d6, and d4. This is all standard moves in the open Sicilian. He took, I took, he played knight f6. I defended the pawn, and he played a6, the Najdorf defense. This is pretty much the most critical variation of the Sicilian defense. And a lot of strong players play the Najdorf, including me. So I played h3. This is a variation that I found very difficult to face when I was playing the Najdorf. And now I played it as white as well. So he played e6, and I played g4. So this is the main idea behind the Najdorf. You want to expand this pawn. See if I can draw some arrows. Yeah, so you want to expand this pawn. You want to push the knight away with g5. So that's why you played h3 in the first place. So e6, g4, and he played b5. So he wants to flank it at his bishop and try to put pressure on this diagonal. So I played bishop g2, just getting on this diagonal. And maybe there could be a tactic in the future with e5. But another good move is g5 here. And then he has to play knight d7. And this is just another good way to play. I think it's the engine recommended way to play. So he played b5, I played bishop g2, and he flank-outed his bishop. And I played bishop e3 here. Now e3 is actually a really good square for the bishop. But it's actually better to castle here. And then if he plays b4, trying to win this e4 pawn, I don't play knight a4, instead I play knight d5. And it's a piece sacrifice. If he takes it, I can capture back. And you can see that this e-file has opened. The board has been split in two. This d pawn is very strong. And another idea here is that the white knight can hop into c6 where it's supported by the bishop. And that would be very dangerous. So a possible variation goes bishop e7, g5 to attack the knight, knight d7, and then knight c6. Now we're threatening rook e1. And we can win the bishop. And if black were to just take this knight, it's pretty dangerous because this pawn, you know, can push to c7 and then we can win the rook on a8. So the variation continues queen c7 and then we take this bishop. He takes back. We check, king d8, and then we go into the queen. And you can see that the board is basically split into two sectors. And that really benefits us since we're attacking. So he could play knight e5, and then we just play f4, knight g6, and then we come in with the queen, and black's kind of in trouble here. So it's actually not completely winning, but it's 0.9 according to the engine, and you know, you'd rather much rather be white here. So that is the correct way to play. But I played bishop e3. And the reason this is a mistake is that if he plays b4, if I were to play knight a4, then he can just take this pawn, and I don't really get anything for it. Instead, though, he played b4 and I played g5, and then he played knight d7, which turns out to be a mistake. If you were to just capture on c3, and then I capture on f6, he captures back, and I capture the pawn back. Now he's got the open g file for his rook. This pawn formation is pretty solid. And, you know, d5 is under control, f5 is under control. And I have these weak doubled pawns on the queen side, so it's not going to be safe to castle on either side. So I played bishop b3 and he played b4, I played g5 and he played knight d7. And then I played knight e2. So you can see in this variation, I've avoided all those downsides. And I'm slightly better in this position. So he played g6 and I played queen d2, just getting ready to castle queenside. You'll notice that my kingside is exposed, so I don't necessarily want to castle kingside. I want to castle queenside, even though he does have these A and B pawns that can open up the queenside. But on the other hand, I know that black is going to castle kingside because the queenside is completely open. So I can start castling queenside and then maybe pushing f4, f5 or h4, h5 to try to attack his king when he does eventually castle kingside, or just open up the center and go at him in the center. So he played a5 and I castled queenside. And he played knight c5. So he's attacking the c4 pawn. So I defended it with f3. Apparently knight b5 is actually better. But I'm just going to stick to the game. So I played f3. He played knight d7. And then I played knight g3. And I kind of just want to play rook e1 and push like f4, f5 or something like that. He played d5. So I took his pawn. He took back with the bishop. Now he's attacking a2, so I defended it. He played queen b8, and then I brought my knight in with knight e4. And so now I'm happy if he takes this knight, I can take back with the pawn, get my rook on the f-file, and attack his king. So he played a4. You can see he's trying to open up some lines on the queen side, attack my king. And I played knight takes knight. Knight takes c5, he captured back, and I played f4. So I'm opening up this. Maybe I want to play f5. I want to play rook e1. I want to get on the file. He ended up playing knight e4, which apparently is a big mistake, probably because of what happened in the game. So apparently he should play queen b7, but I think he's still worse according to the engine. But let's get into the game. He played knight e4. So I took his knight. And here you can see that, his king is completely exposed. d7 is completely undefended. So I found a tactic here. I took on e6. If he takes my knight, I come in with checkmate on d7. He ended up playing queen b7. And I took this bishop. Apparently, the engine says that if I were to play knight c5 here, and he captures, if he plays bishop takes rook, I have a very strong move here, queen d6. And the main idea is just to play queen e5, and his king is checkmated. So, yeah, that would have been the best way to win. I took on f8, and he played b3. So here he's trying to, win my rook, basically, with this pin of the bishop. I decided to play rook on h to e1. I wanted to get on this file, where his bishop can be pinned. And I was just hoping that after he does win my rook, I have enough play against his king. Apparently, this is what I played. Apparently, where is it? Yeah, apparently bishop c5 was the way to go here. And then after he wins my rook, I'm just winning. I have queen d6, c5 like before. And if he were to take this knight after queen d6, I'm threatening checkmate on f8. And if he moves the rook, then I have queen e5, and the only move is to block and get checkmated. So that's what I should have played, but I played rook e1, he took. I played king a1, he took my rook. I took back with a queen so I can keep this pin on the king. He took my knight, and I played queen d6. And you can see that I am down in exchange. I have... Oh, sorry, I'm actually down a full rook. But all these dark squares around his king are completely open. I have a bishop on that diagonal, on that color square. And although I am actually lost, because if he blocks with the queen here, I'm actually lost. But it turns out that he just played king g8. I played bishop d4, and I'm starting to get some compensation. He played h5. Then I threatened mate with queen e5. So, you know, I'm starting to get some compensation. He played rook h7. Then I just took this bishop, so I got some material back. He played rook f8. And then I made left with my king, so I can step up to a2. Then he played queen d7. I moved my rook back. He took this pawn, and I played bishop c5. And he let me just take this rook, but, you know, it's kind of dangerous. We might have been in a time scramble here, but I think I have enough compensation to at least draw this game if it wasn't a time scramble. But anyways, I took his rook, he took, and I checked again, and played f5. So basically, f5, you know, if he takes here, I can mate him on the back row. If he takes with the pawn, I'm kind of just opening up his king a bit. But I ended up winning on time here. So yeah, that was the game. You know, it's nice to get a win against a GM. It shows me that I have some potential, you know, to improve my game. And I get a win against a GM every once in a while. You know, more often than not, I'm losing, but every once in a while I do get a win. And thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, give me a like. Thank you very much. Goodbye.